Hello and welcome to Today in History. My name is Sotonye Afiesimama. So let's get cracking, let's roll the blind back to the year 1619. And on this day, the first enslaved Africans arrive in Jamestown, setting the stage for slavery in North America. So this is how it happened. Obviously, a few weeks earlier, 20 and odd Angolans were kidnapped by the Portuguese. And it was on this day in 1619 that they arrived in the British colony of Virginia and are then bought by English colonists. The arrival of the enslaved Africans in the New World marks a beginning of 2.5 centuries of slavery in North America. So for those who know about this, that's what's called the Year of the Return, which was celebrated in Ghana last year, 2019. So that marked 400 years of slavery. So there's been a trend over the last few years now of African Americans going back home, home in quotes, because most of them have never been there. But yeah, there's some who feel a very strong affinity for Africa and have decided they're going to up sticks and go back. But going back again, when you say go back, obviously they've never been there. Their ancestors were sold into slavery, in most cases kidnapped and forcefully sent to a foreign land and treated very badly. A lot of African Americans today are still suffering the same fate, being treated very badly, being treated as second-class citizens. A lot of African Americans. Things have improved in America, but I think there still needs a lot still needs to be done to make sure that everyone is treated equally, not just African Americans, so just the people from all races are treated equally under the law, not just the majority who are ruling the country, So yeah, go check out videos on YouTube about the Year of the Return. Ghana especially, I think, is attracting more African Americans than any other country on the continent, to the best of my knowledge. But yeah, so as this plaque says, this is the day that the first black slaves arrived in North America, specifically in Virginia, the colony, British colony of Virginia. And obviously this was made possible by English colonists who brought the slaves, or these African Americans, to the United States. So what happened was that they were originally kidnapped by Portuguese colonial forces. I think I mentioned that already. And this started in Angola, a town called the port of Luanda, which is the capital of modern-day Angola. That's where they left from. They were captured members of the native Kongo and Ndongo kingdoms and were forced to march to the port of Luanda. Okay, we move on now to the next event on this day, 1856. This university was established and is called Wilberforce University. Interestingly, this guy called William Wilberforce was against slavery. It's interesting that this was established on this day. Was this deliberately to coincide with the fact that the first slaves arrived? I don't think so, because this was 1856 and the first enslaved Africans arrived in 1619. May just be a coincidence, which is an interesting one. So Wilberforce University, established in Ohio, is a private, historically black university in Wilberforce, Ohio. Affiliated with the African Methodist Episcopal Church, AME, it was the first college to be owned and operated by African Americans. It participates in the United Negro College Fund. So, like I said earlier, this university, Wilberforce University, was named after the British abolitionist statesman, William Wilberforce. So that was a good tribute to a man who didn't like what was going on, the goings-on, with treating fellow human beings poorly. So William Wilberforce has been honored by the setting up of this university. Let's move on to the year 1911, and the first around the world telegram was sent. So that happened on this day in 1911. We move on to the year 1922, and this man's name is called Augustus Taiwo Solarin, or Tai Solarin. He was more popularly known as Tai Solarin. Now, what's unique about this guy is that he was very down to earth, very simple, always wore his khaki and his shirt. You'd never see him dressing like Bada, which he thought was ostentatious. I'm going to read a little about him. So he's an educator and author, born at Ikenne, Ogun State in Nigeria. So one of the states in western Nigeria, not far from Lagos, which was a capital of Nigeria. Solarin was inspired by the writings of Nnamdi Azikiwe. So Nnamdi Azikiwe was Nigeria's first president. Okay, so he inspired Tai Solarin. And interestingly, Nnamdi Azikiwe was Igbo, while Tai Solarin is Yoruba. Okay. He encouraged young people to travel abroad for study. So Nnamdi Azikiwe was the one who encouraged young people, young Nigerians, to travel abroad for study. Obviously, the idea was to widen their horizons or broaden their horizons so that they saw the world from a different perspective, not just from their local community. Okay, so I'm going to carry on. He enlisted in the British Air Force and served with the Royal Air Force as a navigator in the Second World War. In fact, he was the first African pilot. He remained in Britain studying at the University of Manchester. That's just my neck of the woods. I studied there as well. And then at the University of London. Tai Solarin married English-born Sheila Mary Tuer in 1951. He established a school called the Mayflower School in Ikenne, and also was the People's Bank's first chairman. There's also a university named after him, which is called the Tai Solarin University. So that's Tai Solarin for you, born on this day in 1922. 1975, on this day, I apologize for that picture, didn't belong here. So the Viking 1, an unmanned US planetary probe, is launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida, on a mission to Mars. So that happened on this day in 1975. But on June 19, 1976, the spacecraft entered into orbit. So we're saying 10 months after launch, the spacecraft entered into orbit around Mars and devoted the next month to imaging the Martian surface with the purpose of finding an appropriate landing site for its lander. On July 20th, the 7th anniversary of the Apollo 11 lunar landing, the Viking 1 lander separated from the orbiter and touched down on the Chris Planitia region, becoming the first spacecraft to successfully land on the surface of Mars. The same day, the craft sent back the first close-up photographs of the rust-colored Martian surface. So that's the Viking 1, unmanned US planetary probe, which launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida, on this day in 1975. And on that note, we end today's Today in History. Join me tomorrow for another edition of Today in History. My name again is Sotonye Afiesimama. Do not forget to give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and also consider subscribing so that you receive updates of my video uploads. Now, the best way to do that, to ensure that you get notifications of my video uploads, is to click the notification bell. So as soon as you click the notification bell, YouTube sends you an email, so a notification to let you know that I have just uploaded a video. So that also helps me. When you like the video, it helps with the algorithm, helps to push my video to more people. Also, do not forget to share this video as well to your family and friends, learn a bit about history. And let's move the channel forward. Thanks, guys, again, and stay safe. I shall see you tomorrow, the 21st of August, for another edition of Today in History. Bye, guys.